Constance Sladen's story is an example of a Victorian woman whose own achievements were overshadowed by her husband's. She herself was devoted to supporting his work and making sure of his legacy to the world of science. She was born Constance Anderson in York in July 1848 into a distinguished local family. She was a cultured lady who developed her interest in art and archaeology. Her art was exhibited in London and the provinces, and she became an authority on Yorkshire archaeology. However, as a woman, she was denied opportunities to promote or discuss her work at the various learned societies. Constance married Walter Percy Sladen, the collector of the echinoderms in the Sladen Gallery. They had 10 years together, and she cared diligently, loyally and patiently for Percy over the long decline in his health which began in their first year of marriage. Percy Sladen was a distinguished naturalist who specialised in echinoderms, and as a leading authority, he was asked to write up the account for the report on the HMS Challenger expedition 1872 to 1876, which laid the groundwork for oceanography. They finally married just after Percy had completed his renowned analysis and documentation of the natural history specimens brought back by the HMS Challenger expedition, particularly the starfish asteroids. The Exeter connection with the Sladens is that in 1898, Percy Sladen inherited the Northbrook Park estate in Exeter from his uncle, John Dawson, and he and Constance came to live there. They were both philanthropic, and even in the 4 years they spent together in Exeter as a couple, they had become significant local benefactors. In 1900, they were travelling in Italy. Percy collapsed and died suddenly in Florence at the age of only 51. Constance returned to live on the Northbrook estate in Exeter and brought Percy's body home to be buried in the local church, St. Luke's. Constance was devoted to her husband's memory after his death. She was determined that his collection would act as his memorial. The collection, of almost 3,300 specimens of starfish, sea urchins, sea lilies, sea cucumber, as well as 2,000 fossils, is believed to be the largest and most comprehensive echinoderm collection outside the Natural History Museum. Constance took steps, unusual in those times for a woman, to create a memorial for her husband. She wanted the collection and library, which includes the volumes of the Challenger expedition findings, to remain intact. RAMM agreed in 1903 to accept the bequest and the funds, £1,000, for the creator to organise and arrange the collection on the condition that the collection be kept together in a separate room in proper condition and be accessible to students at all reasonable times. And the gallery as you see it now looks largely as it did in 1910. Constance continued to be interested in natural history. In 1903, her contribution to scientific research and its funding was acknowledged in a scientific journal. An expedition to South America financed by the Percy Sladen Memorial Trust found a new species. It was named Mimosa constantii, or white-bellied woolly mouse opossum, in her honour. In 1904, she was one of the first 15 women to be elected as a member of the Linnean Society, the world's oldest active biological society. She died in 1906. She too was buried in St. Luke's Cemetery. A new memorial was erected with 2 identical headstones linked symbolically by a stone rope, demonstrating her devotion to her husband.